So I'm joined on the phone now by Tom Siegel for the final instalment of the Road to Cheltenham. Tom, first of all, I'd like to start by looking back over the few months that we've been doing this series. Back in January, we got this underway. And looking at the Gold Cup, we haven't seen some of the key contenders, the likes of Bobsworth and Long Run, but we have seen To Cheltenham, Silviniaco Conti, Imperial Commander, Cape Tribulation, Captain Chris. They've all run really well in their trials. Of the ones we've seen, who do you rate the best?
Unfortunately, Sam, of all of them. I think it's a great Gold Cup this year. We've got the sort of young up-and-coming brigade. I like To Cheltenham. Thought he was impressive. I think he's a really strong stayer. He's 2 from 2 at Cheltenham. He's been trained for the race. Got a great chance. Bobsworth the same. You know, only thing I'd slight doubt about Bobsworth is he's been off since the Hennessy, but he clearly goes well fresh. He's got a very similar profile, 2 from 2 at Cheltenham. Silviniaco Conti. What's he done wrong? The time of his race at Newbury looked really good. It was a really strongly run race, and he'll improve for that. So, you know, you can keep going round and round in circles. Maybe Captain Chris is the only value left. He looked like he was going to beat a Long Run in the King George. Better ground will suit him. Still slightly worried about him jumping out to his right, but he did win an Arkle. Richard Johnson is adamant he will stay the trip. So of all those floating around, I suppose he's the value, but I'm a bit surprised if he could beat the 3 at the top of the market.
At the last, though, Q-Card has got over it, and Q-Card's home. He's about 5-6 lengths in front, and Q-Card, punched out by Joe Tizard, is going to go on and win a dramatic running of the Betfair Ascot Chase. Q-Card the winner. It was very costly for Captain Chris in second.
And Tom, almost every week on these chats, we seem to have been discussing an impressive novice hurdler to win at the weekend. There's been the likes of My Tent or Yours, Pont Alexandra, Far West. Of those that we've seen, who are the real standout ones for you?
Once again, I think the Irish novice hurdlers are a really, really strong group this year. I don't think the chasers are very good, but I think the novice hurdlers are really good. Having said that, My Tent or Yours was so good in the Betfair hurdle. He's clearly good enough to win your normal Supreme. The only thing I'd say is that good horses tend to lose the Supreme. Pinocchio lost it to Captain CB. If you ran those 2 again, that would never happen. Starland got beaten by Cinder Nations. I doubt anyone could think that. And biggest of all, Alpha Off beat Sprinter Sacra. It just wouldn't happen in any normal 2-mile race. So you're looking at funny results in this race. On form, My Tent or Yours is the best. I think there's a few floating around. I've done a few preview nights in Ireland, and there's a lot of talk about Willie Mullins' horse On Ad 2. He's sort of a chaser, though, so whether he's quite quick enough for a horse like Mental Yours, I'm not sure. The other ones, Pont Alexandra looks really good. I think he's probably the weakest of the favourites of the novice hurdles. I think he's got a really tough path against some good horses. You've got a new one in there for Nigel Twiston-Davies. You've also got my fancy Cacanda Soy for John Joe O'Neill. He's only been beaten once by My Tent or Yours, trying to give him rate. I think he's got as good a form as Pont Alexandra. I like him. Far West in the Triumph has done nothing wrong. He showed a load of pace at Ascot, something I didn't think he had. But there's Arconnor in there, there's Rolling Star in there, be a few others floating around as well. So, you know, I can see him going very close. But, you know, whether he's any value about 4 to 1, I'm not sure.
Far West, he might have caught him for toe. He has. It's up to the line. Far West, a smart performer, this 4-year-old. Far West goes on to win well.
And what about the chasers that have impressed you most over the last few months?
Well, I think Dynast has to be the horse, really. Obviously, Simon C will come on to him later, but Dynast is all the sort of staying form leads back to Dynast. I mean, it's a problem with him, and we don't know which race he's going to. If he runs in the Juice, and I think he's a certainty. If he runs in the Sun Alliance, and it's sort of tacky testing ground, I think he could be beaten. One I like against him would be Union East. I think he's a deadly jumper. I think he's really good, and that's always key in the RSA. I think he'll go well. Dynast would be I think he'd win the Juice if he ran in it. But the star horse for me is Simon Sig. If he jumps for a clear round, I think he'll thrash Overturn. I think he's a different class, really. Overturn's done nothing wrong. Fantastic horse. Sort of everyone's favourite horse in training these days. But I don't think he's in the class with Simon Sig.
Well, Tom, I know handicaps are much more your thing. Still a lot to be decided in terms of options for a few of these horses. They've got a number of entries, but any handicappers you've seen over the last few months that have really impressed you?
Yes, there's a few, Sam. One horse I was very keen on was a horse called Super Duty for Donald McCain. He's running in the Kinmure. The best amateur around, Derek O'Connor, will be riding him. I think he's got a great chance. Problem with, I think the price is going quite quickly about him. I think he's about 5-1 shot in a big field handicap, but I liked him. There's Alderwood in the Grand Annual. He's obviously been trained for the race. Wouldn't want any rain. Needs to have fast ground. He does. And there'll be loads of others. But I'm a last-minute man, really. I like seeing what the running is, who's running, the ground and all those sort of things, the jockey bookings, all those sort of things. I think they come into my calculations more than many others. So I would wait to see the decks really before getting involved. But there's a couple there that I'm interested in.